was the last time you took a leap of faith, trusting that everything is going to work out? Do you crave growth, or are you merely content with the status quo? If you want more out of your life, out of your career, and out of your relationships, you are in the right place. Take the leap and discover how to create a life by design rather than living it by default. Real success starts with you. Now here's your host, Colleen Biggs.
Well, hello, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, or good morning, depending upon where you're joining us from today. But I want to welcome you back to Take the Leap. I am your host, as always, Colleen Biggs. And every week we bring you amazing experts that are going to bring their nuggets of wisdom, techniques, things for you to do in your life that are either going to produce better relationships, better results in your business, or maybe even get you to contemplate and think about how you can pivot and do something a little bit different with your life because you realize you haven't been designing your life the way you desire it to be designed. And today, all the way from Australia, that's why we're coming live to you this evening. We have Sherrie Laryse with us, and she is going to be diving into techniques for overcoming challenges. We all have them in every areas of our life, in our business, in our relationships, in every single thing we do. It might even be overcoming challenges of, getting out of your own way. So we're going to be diving into that today. But before we do, we certainly want to thank today's sponsor of today's show, Beyond Basil Mobile Pizzeria. Imagine if your wedding and private event was catered by a luxurious trailer equipped with wholesome ingredients and lots of TLC and a pizza oven imported from Italy. Our goal at Beyond Basil is to make the best pizza you've ever had. We know how to do this too. Your best pizza experience is our highest priority. Be sure to contact us on Instagram at Beyond Basil Pizza and follow us there to see scrumptious pizza photos or online at beyondbasilmobilepizzeria.com. It's easy to plan your next event with us. We've got you covered. Thank you for Beyond Basil for being our sponsor of today's show. Like I said, techniques for overcoming challenges. What does that mean? Well, Sherrie Laryse is an author, teacher, and mentor with 10 plus years of working in human behavior, neurolinguistics, grief, trauma, psychosomatics, mental illness, yoga, and meditation. Whew. That was a mouthful. Sherrie's fascination with the human psyche also has her studying a Bachelor of Cognitive and Brain Science. That'll be interesting. Let's jump into that today. Sherrie's focus is teaching emotional intelligence. Those are two words I know everyone has heard once in their life at least. She does this via private consultation, public speaking, and written word. Sherrie's debut book, On Path, shares her personal experience and practical techniques for overcoming challenge. Sherrie has witnessed profound transformation in her clients, and as such, aims to share practical methods of self-help through movement and the power of story. Sherrie, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Colleen. So great to be here.
Great to have you here. Mm-hmm. And I'm so excited to get into this conversation with you because I don't believe we get, you're a 10 plus year teacher and mentor and working on this. So where was the shift? What was preparing you in your life that really got you here? There was always a moment in our life where it really just put us on the right path to where you are today. And there could have been several shifts in past, but we would love to get to intimately know you a little bit better.
So my background is corporate, actually. That's where I began. And as you mentioned, I'm now a neuroscience geek at university studying cognitive and brain science. So in between the corporate and the love of science, the whole time I have also been a yogi. I've been meditating since my 20s. I'm now mid-40s. So I've been meditating for a long time. I love yoga and what that gives me, and ended up doing my teacher training and now teach yoga at night while I go to uni and study during the day. So I get to fill all of my loves. But I guess there were a few pivots in my world. One was when I left corporate, I left under kind of funky circumstances, actually, because I went and have you ever heard of neurolinguistic programming, NLP?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, NLP. It's very, very popular. I've actually been to an NLP course for 4 days, I think the training was. Yeah, I just wanted
Right.
to dabble in it, get to learn it a little bit better and understand it.
Well, that's what I said. I just want to dabble. I just want to know what this is about. And I did a 2-day course. And then off the back of that, set myself 3 goals. And within a week, met all 3 goals. And that was getting out of my job, getting $50,000, which ended up being the redundancy payment for getting out of that job, and met my husband.
Wow.
So then, because I got those 3 goals in a week, that meant, okay, well, I can't just dabble. There's something going on here. So that was my first pivot in life. And I threw myself into learning everything I could about NLP specifically. But I also just went on this, I went down a rabbit hole of learning everything that I could. And that's also what led me into my yoga teacher training, led me into doing all sorts of courses on human behavior. I met John DeMartini. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him.
I do. I've actually interviewed John DeMartini on my podcast. Yeah. I interviewed him over 2 years ago. So we're going back and we're looking to start bringing back some of our favorite episodes. And definitely that was when I had him and his daughter on the podcast that day. It was amazing. Yeah.
So that man has a lot of wisdom.
A lot of wisdom.
I was actually lucky enough. He read my debut book that I just released, and he endorsed it. So he's the quote on the front cover, which was quite an honor.
Oh, wow.
But so he's my key teacher. Love his wisdom and his teachings. So on this little learning journey that I went on, that's when I met John, and I started learning a lot of his techniques, which allowed me to then start working with clients. So I'm qualified in his technique, his key technique that he teaches. And that's when I started working with clients on how to overcome emotions, which was primarily, how to overcome challenge and work through and process heavy emotions. And primarily, to be very, brief and succinct about the how while we're doing an overview, it is to find the benefits to what you are going through that feels like a total crap experience and just feels like there's only drawbacks and it's really hard. It's to recognize that there are benefits to every single thing that we go through.
Yeah.
And it's to find them. And I'm sure he would have spoken about this on your podcast as well, because it really is what he puts forward in life. So I started working with clients, helping them do that. And then I went through my own challenge, and this was my second big pivot that led me to where I am in life. And that was my own challenge of not being able to fall pregnant. And I'm in a beautiful relationship, and we're both super healthy, super clean. My husband, his body is a temple. He doesn't drink coffee. He doesn't do anything. He doesn't drink. He hasn't drunk ever since I've met him. So he's super, super healthy. When we met, I was on a little bit of an alcohol bender, and I was a coffee lover. I have totally become so much cleaner since meeting him, because there's something about when you're a drinker and you're with somebody who's a non-drinker, it's not fun getting a little bit tipsy on your own. And especially when he was my brand new boyfriend who I was so into, and I wanted to be on his page. And we'd go out for dinner. He'd say, have a glass of wine if you want to. And I'd get through the first one. I think, this isn't as fun on my own.
It's not fun unless someone's having one with you, right? So if you're walking into a coffee house and you're like, oh, I love coffee, and the other person is like, meh, and they're with you every day, you're like, well, let's just skip the coffee house. It doesn't matter anymore, So
let's just go for a walk on the beach.
Yeah.
So he's been a really good influence on my life in those respects. And I was already pretty healthy anyway. But then he allowed me to clean up those last few things just to become even healthier. So then I was really frustrated and kind of thrown when I couldn't fall pregnant, because we were picture perfect health, right? Went to the doctor, had all the tests, helped me find out what's wrong. And they said, no, nothing's wrong. You're in great health, which is so frustrating when somebody tells you you're in great health when there's,
You're
there's a
like,
problem.
well, then what? You want to know, why can't I? So if I'm
Right.
in great health and he's in great health, then what's the problem?
And if we can't find the problem, then we can't fix the problem.
Right.
So that was really frustrating. And after 7 years of going through loads of tests, I mean, oh my God, Colleen, I saw everybody to try and fall pregnant.
Yeah.
Everybody.
We have a daughter who's been through in vitro like several times. And I have a niece of ours that just had their first baby, and she had been on this journey for over 15 years. Have done in vitro several times, went from specialist to specialist to specialist. They had given up thinking we're just going to live our lives without a baby because they're in their late 30s. And they're like, well, that's okay. And they just had their first baby girl. I mean, it was a miracle. It was a miracle.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That is beautiful.
Yeah.
The 15 years, that's a really long time to go through that emotional exhaustion.
A roller coaster for sure.
And trying is tiring emotionally.
It's not a healthy, fun, vibrant sexual relationship. There's a singular focus, and emotionally, both of you are exhausted through, and then all of the shots and the things that you have to do that change your mood and your body and the hormones. It is absolutely exhausting. I've watched it.
So I probably should clarify. When I say I tried everything up to the point of IVF. And I didn't go there. I had a little, I guess that was my, everyone needs to have their point of,
yes,
and those people that do IVF as well, you've got to have your line of, okay, we're going to do this many rounds, and you need to call it somewhere. So I called it at IVF. And I think this was also my love of health and getting my body into this really optimal state. I really believed in my body.
Yeah.
And so I tried all of the natural alternatives that would support my body to be in optimal health to do that. And I kept believing in it and believing it and believing in it. And sooner or later, I needed to find another way around my headspace. So this is the biggest challenge that I have overcome. And this is now why I specialize in helping people overcome challenges, because this is a really big one to go against your innate need to procreate, that it's biological. It's not just a fuzzy desire that I came up with. And, I saw it on TV and thought, yes, I want that. That's my next goal. It's biological. So to overcome something like that takes took a lot of work.
Yeah.
So now, yes, I do feel that I'm able to help other people through it. And because of where I am now, and I feel like my journey, my challenge, everything that I went through has been one of the greatest gifts that I could ever get in life.
Yeah.
Now, when people come to me and say, okay, I've got this challenge, it's weighing me down, it's breaking me, I'm crumbling, I can hold their hand and say, I know there is another side. I know there are positives to this that I realize you can't see right now, you can't feel, you can't even acknowledge that they exist, but I know they do. So I have the capacity to hold you through this.
Earlier when you talked about the challenges that we're in and how the beautiful benefits that come out of that is how I see, I always ask the question when I'm going through a heavy challenge. I always will say, God, show me the lesson in all of this. Show me what I need to learn. Show me the benefits of why I'm going through this. And I see the benefits now on the other side of why you went through that, which prepared you for everything you're able to do today, to lead, guide, share light through others' challenges. And we could talk for 5 hours on techniques for overcoming challenges. What would you say, especially for our listeners that are out there when they feel a challenge coming on, there's several ways to look at that. One would be, I have a challenge. I need to get an answer. If I have an answer to the challenge, it might be a knowledge gap or something like that. That could be an easy challenge that you need to overcome, which is just simply getting an answer and whatever it may be, a hurdle or something small. When you're dealing or working with clients that have a larger challenge, give me an idea of what some of those challenges may be that they're coming to you with, and some of those techniques that you would use to walk them through that.
So people who are in current challenges, it's often relationship challenges, whether that is with their intimate partner, their parent.
That's a
pretty
big
juicy
one.
ones.
Yeah, that exists in my life.
They're juicy. Yeah. So that, not as much so just of, who people who gravitate to me, but little relationships at work, colleagues, bosses, things like that.
Oh, yeah.
But mostly people come to me about past challenges that are still weighing them down. So past traumas, and that is in all sorts of really ugly flavors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you find that some of those past traumas, because of the length and time of them, that they've now festered and shown up in ailments in their body and pain and many other aspects, and they're just realizing that they just feel burdened, and it truly is weight. It could be weight on their body. It could be weight in their emotions. It could be pain within their body. Do you find that that's common?
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And when we have stress, even if it is something, even if day to day we feel like we're going about life, it's sunny outside, we're going for a walk on the beach, we're buying an ice cream, we're, happy as anything. If we have this stress that is sitting in the background that we haven't yet been able to work through, then you still have the cortisol that goes with having a stress. You still have the inflammation that is created in the body that can show up as all sorts of ailments, arthritis, or inflammation creates a number of problems
every pain
in our system. Pretty much.
I see stress really come on a lot in back pain. I see it in headaches, migraines. I was in a relationship. I'll share this quick, and my listeners have heard this. I was in a dating relationship for about 5 years. And it was a very strange relationship. That person had never been married. They had never had any children, yet they were very condescending to me, very strict on what a bad mother I was. They had no clue, right? And I was just thinking, why am I allowing this person to talk down to me all the time? Well, I started getting multiple migraines. I had never really had headaches before in my life. I had CAT scans, kept going into the doctors. I had to be transported from the office several times home because they were so bad. I couldn't see, couldn't drive. The doctors were like, we have a clue what's wrong with you. That's your first indicator. No one can, medically see anything. And then I became motion sickness. Never in my life. I could ride roller coasters, be in boats, cars, cruises. Nothing ever bothered me. Now I couldn't do anything without taking a pill or having something that would help me with motion sickness. So I thought this was just my life. I'm getting older. Maybe things change. I would have to go in and, get shots in the emergency room for these medical migraines. And I broke the relationship off. And wouldn't you know it, this is the truth. All the migraines went away. I've not even had one migraine since that day. And it's been 16
It doesn't surprise
years.
me at all.
Mm-hmm.
Psychosomatics.
And I have zero motion sickness.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, in the moment when I was in the relationship, and this is why I wanted to talk about some techniques for overcoming challenges, I had a challenge in that moment with this person, and my relationship wasn't very good, but I had no idea that was a linear line to a migraine, a linear line to the motion. I just thought my body was changing, and I didn't realize that those physical ailments were showing up because of this relationship.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So I actually talk a lot about this in my book. So
the book is On Path. correct?
Yes.
On Path. And we have the link for all of you to scroll down, or if you're on Facebook, the link is there for you to click on. You'll get right to her book on Amazon. Go ahead, Sherrie.
Awesome. Thank you. So I talk through a whole lot of my challenges in there, and I pretty much use myself as a case study for challenge and how to get through them. So I talk through all of my pitfalls, all of my sadness, all of my grief, all of it, not only about trying to fall pregnant and not being able to get there, but then my brother getting sick and the death of my friend. And I take people through all of it and then talk them through all of the techniques that I did to get out of it. And some of those were meditation techniques. Some of those were emotional intelligence. And it was an exercise that I took myself and literally pen to paper, started writing down answers to repeated questions that I would ask myself. For example, the benefits. That is one of the questions that I ask myself. And I just keep writing down answers until I feel a shift, in my psyche about, okay, maybe there is something positive here. Okay. Maybe, you just need this little, you need to crack the door open slightly. Yeah. So I take people through that whole journey. And what I have found is, even though I'm using myself as a case study, people read it and it's quite subjective in the fact that people relate to it and they read themselves into the story. So like you said, everybody's got their own challenge. Everybody's been through their hardest time in life. Yeah. So everyone reads themselves into the story. So by me taking you all the way down into it, it kind of helps you relate back to what still feels unresolved in you. And then when I talk you through the techniques that I did to come out of it, you can't help but have this seed planted, and it just starts percolating in the background about, okay, well, what are the benefits to me? Or, the meditation that I talk you through, then you lie in bed at night and it just starts simmering.
Let's talk about meditation. I've been told, and I work with professionals in meditation, and that is something I've added to my practice. And that really wasn't around when I was in corporate America. It was, I didn't practice meditation. It wasn't on my forefront. It wasn't even a focus of mine. Since becoming an entrepreneur, I realized, because I'm so responsible for my psyche, my mindset, you essentially are taking a job where someone says, congratulations, Sherrie, I just gave you the best job ever. You are 100% commission. We love you. Go sell. Yeah. And most entrepreneurs don't realize that. So talk about meditation. This is every single person I've ever studied in success, billionaires, any book I've ever read, meditation, exercise, and journaling are the top 3 things that they always have for themselves every single day. Why would meditation be equal to someone who's extremely successful? Why does that technique work so well?
Because it changes the neuro pathways in your brain. That is the very short answer. Now, one thing that it actually does so many things. So the amygdala, the limbic part of our brain that is in charge of emotions and survival instincts. When we get stressed, our survival instincts kick into play and we become very rash, very erratic, very kill or be killed, which is why when people are stressed, arguments become really ugly.
Fight or flight.
And you don't think
the way we're
fight
built.
Or flight. Yeah. Right. So you put all of the blood and glucose into that part of the brain, and that's the part that then becomes dominant, that you see the world in, that you act on. When you meditate, you weaken those pathways to the limbic system and instead strengthen the pathways to the prefrontal cortex, which is in charge of your rational thinking, your logic, your clear thinking, your good decision making, being able to weigh things up. Every successful person needs to be able to make decisions rationally with clear thinking, as opposed to, oh crap, fight or flight, kill or be killed. That's not sustainable. Yeah. So meditation is crucial for that, if nothing else. when even going through some of the emotional intelligence techniques and the exercises that I would do, I found it really hard to even sit down and be still and think without being able to meditate first. And sometimes a meditation for me is just sitting down for 5 minutes, if that's all I feel that I have or all I can sit still for because I'm so anxious, nervous, scared, stressed, whatever, and just follow my breath for 5 minutes. If that becomes too hard, then listen to all of the sounds outside and just be with sound, because there's something about sound that is, or actually, sound is right now. Our mind is often in the past or it's in the future. And it's ruminating, it's dwelling, or it's imagining and forecasting all these bad events and all these things that will go wrong, and the anxiety is building up. And you come back to just notice all the sounds that I can hear right now, and it keeps you in the present moment. So that, as a meditation technique, is really easy and something that everybody has access to when they're driving in the car. You can just become present while you're driving and listen to all of the sounds around you. Listen to the traffic, listen to the horns, listen to the bus, whatever it may be. It doesn't have to be something that is saved for a quiet moment when you can get the kids to bed, when you can get the TV off. You know, you don't have to wait for some special moment that may never arrive. Just, you can make meditation as part of your daily routine. Do it while you're in the shower and concentrate on the water as it hits your skin. You know, there's so many different techniques.
Because, you know, daily routines, brushing your teeth, washing your face, washing your hair, whatever, right? Taking a shower. These are daily routines that we do every day to take care of the outside appearance. And there are so many daily routines that are absent in so many people's lives because to them, it's not an important piece. But if they were to able to see what you were talking about from the inside out, right? Because we're focused on the outside appearance of what we take care of every day. If we were able to focus on the inside out and they were able to visibly see the brain and how the meditation changes the synapses and the neuropathways, then I do believe that most people would elect to do more meditating. And I love that you said you could do it in the car while you're driving and kind of zone out and, you know, listen to the sounds and
not zone out. Don't zone out while you're driving.
Well, that's true. I guess maybe at a stoplight, but that's the only time. But
it's a hyper focus as opposed to a zoning out. Yeah.
Yeah. That I really feel that if one technique could be taken from today and someone were to add meditation to a daily practice, it would completely change their life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And try it. I mean, try just listening to the sounds around you. Otherwise, on my website, which I know you're going to share, I have a bunch of free meditations and I've kept them to under 15 minutes to keep it really user-friendly and bite-sized. And there's all sorts of different ones. So I would say, yes, definitely try meditation as one takeaway. Yeah. And if the first technique that you try doesn't really gel with you, then try a different one. Don't throw the whole bag out because the first one didn't work, because there's so many different techniques. And like you said, if you could see it, then you would be more motivated to do it. And with brain imaging today, with fMRIs, we actually can see it. You know, we can see the blood flow moving to different areas. So, you know, you can Google those images if you are somebody who needs a visual in order to talk yourself into doing this.
Yeah.
But yeah, give it a go. And I would say you'll be able to feel the difference pretty quickly.
And there's no reason, now that Sherrie just shared that she has them on her website, that you don't go out there and check them out and try them out and start, you know, for yourself. We've talked about, you know, the techniques of journaling and writing things down and meditating. Before we wrap up and talk about where our listeners can find you and where they can find those meditation, is there any other technique that you feel impressed to leave with our listeners today, Sherrie?
Meditation would be my go-to.
Okay.
Honestly, I think finding the benefits. Yeah. I think that is absolutely crucial, but I do think that is difficult to do on your own for the first time, especially if you've got something really crunchy that you're working with. Yeah. So I am here for that, to help people. I mean, that's what I do as a business. That's my consultation business that I do. And then I'm big on teaching people how to do that so they can take that tool away and do it for themselves. That is how I mother these days, to be honest. I help people to be empowered to stand on their own 2 feet. So
how do you have time for all
really
that? Your universe in the day, right? And then yoga in the evening, and you just kind of fit them in the middle?
Yes, because Colleen, as we were chatting before you started recording, and you were saying, when you get up in the morning, as soon as you press the go button, you go. That's me.
Yeah.
I've got fingers in every single pie because I'm so inspired by all of them. Yeah. And the other stuff that I'm not inspired by, I don't do it anymore. So I'm only doing things that I'm really passionate about, which is helping people, writing my book, studying, meditation, yoga, and my whole life is filled with that.
Yeah. And that right there is also another area and a technique for actually overcome challenges is do the things in life that light you up. You get to choose, right? You get to design the life, but start with meditation, start, rewiring those neural pathways as Sherrie talked about today. And where can they connect with you? Where are the best places? I already talked about Amazon. We have the link. Your book is called On Path. So that's available for them to go and download and purchase, or is it on Audible, or is it just available in
not Audible, just Kindle and paperback.
Okay, good.
So both via Amazon. And then my website, which is sherrie.com.au, AU for the little Aussie.
AU.
And then AU, don't forget that bit. And then my Instagram is sherrie.laryse.
Okay. Great.
So that's
and what photo do you have on your Instagram? I always like to share that so they know that they're coming to the right person.
It's a black and white photo of me with a massive smile on my face.
Nice. It's the cutest smile. I think it's the one that you sent me for us to use in the photo. So it's beautiful. So make sure you go out to Sherrie's website, sherrie.com.au. Go grab her book On Path. These are going to be, remember when you buy these books, you're not only learning more about Sherrie and her experience of what she went through, but you're able to take those lessons of what she learned and apply it to your life, your challenges, some additional techniques, and go get the free meditation. She's giving you some free meditations today to go try and get that practice. And even if you could just start for 5 minutes a day, you all have 5 minutes a day. You all have 5 minutes a day to do this. If it is important enough to you to become successful, you're going to all of these sales trainings, you're going to all these conferences, you're spending all this time getting out there and networking. Spend 5 minutes and start working on your meditation practice. Get it up to 15 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour. That right there is going to change your life for sure. So, Sherrie, thank you so much for being on today's show. It's a lot of fun.
Thank you, Colleen.
Annie Gibbons, she's amazing. I can't believe she recommended you to me in the show. I absolutely love her. If you guys don't know Annie Gibbons, go check her out online and go find her. She's fantastic in what she does and who she serves. And I just want to remind all of you as we end the show today, remember, you're the only you that's ever been. You're the only you that's ever going to be. There's never going to be another you. There may be little miniature yous running around because you had kids, but there's never going to be another you. You're here for a purpose. You're here to make an impact. And playing small is not going to get you there, right? This podcast is full of techniques on how you can apply these everyday easy tasks to your life for you to be able to live the best life possible, for you to make the greatest impact. And as Sherrie talked about, she only does the things that light her up anymore. Those are the things that she's focused on. So what are you focused on today? What one thing are you willing to change and add a practice to so that you can become a better version of you? Because when we thrive, those around us thrive. So Sherrie, thank you again for being on today's show.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely fabulous. And everyone, until next time, remember, be you and be strong. Until then, bye-bye for now.
Thank you for joining us on this journey of self-discovery, where you learned the tools to create a life by design. Remember, you are the only you there is, and you are the only you that will ever be. Be you and be strong, because you are brilliant, and the world needs you at your best. We cannot wait for you to join us again next time.